Hello techies, welcome to IT Tech Solution. Today in this video we will see how we can use AWS S3 bucket as an external stage in Snowflake. So we will try to create S3 bucket, and from there we will try to connect it to Snowflake, and then using S3 bucket we'll place some file in S3 bucket, and then we will access that S3 bucket from Snowflake, and we will try to load that file into a demo table. So this is very common scenario that we have to do in any data engineering field, where we need to access data from S3 bucket, so we can create it as an external stage, and we can load directly it into Snowflake for analytics or for warehousing. So the official documentation of Snowflake recommends three ways. First one is configuring a Snowflake storage integration. Second is using IAM role, but this is deprecated now. And third one is using IAM user credentials. So today I'm going to give a demo for the third option, using IAM user credentials and connect to S3 bucket. The second one is already deprecated, and using Snowflake storage integration is also a way that I'll be giving a demo in maybe in some future video. But today let's concentrate on the third option, because this is one of the options that is used most commonly in many of the projects these days. So let's see. So for this we have some steps that we'll have to follow. So we'll have to have a S3 bucket in place, so that we can place some files there. We will then create the policy in AWS. We will attach few actions to that policy, and these actions are basically the bare minimum permissions that we will be giving. Instead of giving full access to S3, right, we will just provide the required ones, like list bucket, put object, get bucket location. So these five six policies, that is minimum, we'll have to provide. This one we will provide, and then we will attach this policy to the user. So third is we will create the user, and then we will attach this policy to this user. Then we will generate the credentials of that user, so that we have the access key and secret key to access it from Snowflake. Then we will create a Snowflake stage using these credentials, and then we will try to copy some data into our table. So this is the uh, tasks that we will have to do to complete this entire setup. So let's jump over to AWS account, and first let's create an S3 bucket, my test bucket as Snowflake stage, and then other options I'll keep it as default. I just don't want to experiment with all these. So let's just create a bucket here. Okay. Once the bucket is created, my test bucket is Snowflake stage. Let me create a folder as well here. Okay, let's create a folder, and I'll give as a landing, the name as landing. Okay, so we'll just create this folder. So landing folder is also created. Then let's upload a file which we will use to load into Snowflake tables. So that file that we will be uploading, I have just created a sample file. It's a sample CSV file. It contains first name, last name, and age. It has headers also in it. So the first line is header, and we have three records in it. So this is a simple CSV. We will try to read from S3, and we will try to load the Snowflake table. So let's upload this file from my local system. I'll add this file into landing folder. So test file is the CSV name. Let's upload it. So it is uploaded now successfully. We can see this is uploaded just now. So this is the file that we will be using. All right. So first step is done. We have created a S3 bucket, and we have uploaded a sample file in it. Let's go and now create a policy. Okay. So we have to go into IAM. In IAM, we have to go into policies. So create policy. Okay, service we have to give is S3. Now in under S3, I need to provide some actions. What my policy should allow and what it should not allow. So we'll carefully select few of the options that we need. So first of the thing is, we'll never give all actions, okay, because that is not recommended. It should be the least privilege that we have to provide. Okay, so under list, we will have to give list bucket, And so list bucket is done. Then we will provide in a read, we will provide get bucket location, then we will provide get object version, get object. Okay, now we will give the right permission, so we have to give put object, and then if needed delete object. Okay, so if we need to delete the files, we have to give delete object. So these all permissions we will give, and then in the bucket ARN we will give the bucket permissions, like to which bucket we need to give the permissions, that we will have to give. So in this I'll just copy the S3 URI, and let's place the bucket ARN. So let's put here resource bucket name we will give. So the bucket name is this one. uh, it has calculated its ARN automatically, so we will add this ARN. Now you can see this ARN is added, so all these actions that we are defining will be applied to this bucket, so we will get the required permissions there. Now we will do next, and then we will give a policy name. So I will name it Snowflake underscore policy. Okay, so this is the policy name. Then here it is giving us to review everything, then create policy. So let's create this policy, and then let's check once like what permissions it has given and how it's looking. So we can check it has all the permissions in it, and the resource that it has added is also present here. We'll just do a small modification for this in the ARN section, right? We will add one more ARN here, and that we will give like this. We'll change it a little bit just in case it should not create any issues. So what we will do is we will add this ARN here, and then we will add it here, and then we will give slash star. So whatever is present under the bucket, it will give access to that as well. Okay, so just we will apply this, and we will update this. Okay, so we will just do a next and save changes. So just this small modification we'll do, so that it comes in correctly. So let's again just see the policy and verify it once again. So I will just extract Snowflake policy, and it looks nice now. So we have this permission also in place. So policy is created. Let's create a user for this now. So we will create a new user, and a new user I'll give a name as Snowflake hyphen user. Okay, this is my user. Let's click on next, and then I'll say attach policy directly, and in this policy I will find my policy that I created. So this is the policy that we had created just now. I'll check this, and then we'll do a next here. So it says to review and create, so all thing looks nice here. So we will just create this user. Now once this user is created, we have to go into security credentials, and then we need to generate the access key. So we'll create access key here. We can give any options, like for what we are using this creating this credentials. We can say others here, and then we'll just go to next, and we can create this access. So it creates the access key and secret key. We have to download it, because if we navigate away from this page, we will not be able to get it back. So let's just download it and keep it safe in CSV, so that we can use it when once we are configuring our Snowflake stage. We have to use that. So let's use that, and then we'll create it. So now credentials is also created. We have saved it, the user is created now, and we have attached the policy as well, and we will be using this credentials. So let's see what all things we have done. We have covered first point, and second we have created a user, we have generated the credentials. Now let's begin our work from the Snowflake side. So let's log into our Snowflake account. So here is the Snowflake sheet that I'll be using, and here we will be just creating some databases in schema. So let's just create a database. So these things are not required if you already have a setup of your Snowflake. Since this is a new setup, I'm just creating these things, but in real scenarios we already would have some database and then schema. So we just have to create a stage under that. Okay, so for our demo purpose, I'm creating this database as well here. So I'll create this database. Then I'll create this schema. Okay, so next create this schema created. Then we will create a table. So the table should be in line with the data that we have. So we have three columns. The two are varchar and third one is integer, right? So similarly we'll have to create a table where I'm defining first two columns as varchar and third column as int. So this should be matching, otherwise while loading the data it will throw an error with data type mismatch. Okay, so we'll create this table. Now this table is created. Let's just do a select star from that table. If we do a select star, currently that table is empty because we haven't loaded anything into this table. Now let's create the external stage. So here is the create command. And in that create command, we have to provide the URL of our S3 bucket. So if we go back to our S3, we copied this URL. So this is the URL, but we need till only bucket name. We don't need the landing folder and then this file name. Okay, so we just have to provide till the bucket name and then a slash backslash. So this is the URL of my bucket. Now the credentials that we will have to provide here is the one that we just now downloaded. So let's open that from the downloads. I'll just click on this. So this is my access key and this is the secret access key. Okay, so both things we need to provide to the Snowflake stage creation statement. Now in here in AWS key ID, I'll paste this access key, and then secret key also we need to paste it down there. So in the secret key I'll be pasting this secret key. Now we have provided the credentials. Now we also will provide this file format, and that file format I am just giving as type equals to CSV. Okay, so let's just create this stage, external stage got created. It's my S3 underscore stage. So let's just list that stage. Let's see whether it is already created or not. So it is giving me some properties here where it is saying that it is pointing to this S3 bucket. And you can see it's giving us landing underscore test file as well. So it is pointing to that. This is the name. And then the other things it is just giving size and last modified. So this is the stage which is created. Now what we will do is we'll copy some data to this stage, and here I'm just using a copy into statement, and this is the table name that we just now created above. This is the table and from the stage. So whatever stage that we have created using this external URL, it will bring in the data from that stage and load it or copy into this table. So let's just run this. So as soon as we run, you can see it gives some error where it is saying that row one column customer table, and in the age it is giving some error. So the problem here is our file, you can see if you remember, it has a header in it. Okay, and in while defining our stage, we haven't defined that the data that is residing in my stage has header. So we have to provide that information. So for that we will give here one command, and that is skip header equals to 1, because we know our file contains a header in it, so we will just skip it. So that while loading, for example, right now it is using this first row also as a record, and it is trying to load it this record as well into the table, and we have defined the third column as integer, so it is trying to load age into that column and it is failing. So we have to skip this. So we have added now the skip header. Let's again recreate the stage. So it's already create or replace, right? I'll just simply run it. So it will replace the existing stage. So stage got created again, and it if we list it, we will see that it is there created. Now let's again try to run this copy command and see what result it shows here. So we copied data to external stage, and it is saying status has loaded, and the number of rows it has loaded is 3, And now looking at the file, we know that we have three records here. So we know all of those three records are loaded successfully. There are no errors in it. Now let's try to get that data from a select statement. So we'll just run this select statement. So here you can see it can fetch the three records that we just now loaded using the external stage. It was able to access that external stage using our credentials and the user that we created, and it also used the permissions that we had given to our user. Using all those things, no, we were able to configure the external stage and we were able to successfully load the table. So in this way we can use AWS S3 buckets as external stage and load the table in Snowflake. I hope it was a useful video for all of you. If it was useful, please subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any informative video that I'll be posting in future. Until then, bye bye.